Hey y'all, welcome to Farm Girl Friday. It is literally early on Friday morning. And we're out here in the barn where Mama Hope and I almost did an all-nighter. Mama Hope practically did. Watching Mupp here have contractions all night long, but never push. So we still have no babies after all that. So I'm going to sound kind of interesting because I'm going to tell some stories this morning, and y'all just going to have to bear with me because I'm a farmer and a farming sleep schedule is very important. And we didn't get no sleep last night. And that's okay because we thought Mumpy would need us, but Mumpy did not need nobody. She was just having a moment, apparently. Ornery old goat. So, it's early on a Friday morning, like I said, and we've been out here in the barn waiting for Mumpy here. Come here, Mumpy. To have her last round babies. So Muffie here is 10 years old. I raised her in the house in 2014 because she was born on a very yucky cold winter day in February. And her mama had twins, and one side of her udder wasn't that great. We had just bought her and didn't know. And so she didn't have enough milk to provide for two babies, so she kind of threw Muffie aside like a lot of cows do my little orphan babies. Or twin babies. The mama doesn't want one of them, so they'll toss them aside. So, like I do my calves, I took Muffie into my life to raise as my own. She was one of my last adopted babies before I... So I just noticed how rough I look this morning from, sleeping in the barn last night. So I was just watching one of the clips that I just made out here in the barn, and my hair and everything is looking a little rough. People, ask, were you raised in a barn? And, well, I slept in mine last night, so apparently I never left it. But anyway, I was telling the story about Muffie. So, Muffie here is 10 years old now. We tried to retire her last year, and she didn't think that was a good idea. She broke out of the barn, then she broke out of the pen outside the barn. Needless to say, all of that it's electrotized and very hard to get out of because it's like Fort Knox. Ran through the woods in the middle of the night to break into the billy goat's pen in the far back corner of our property where he had his girls that he was supposed to be breeding. And after just a simple one-night stand, Muffie had twins later. So she decided she did not want to be in retirement on her own. And so this year we knew now that she'd like to have babies still. So we bought a little billy goat that is half Nigerian dwarf, half Oberhashi, which is what Muffie here is. So she is going to have little puppies instead of... She's been uncomfortable like this all night long. So she's going to have little itsy bitsy babies, which will be easy to birth. Oh, she's so uncomfortable. My udder's just uncomfortable. Everything's uncomfortable. So I was going to tell y'all a little bit more about my goats and why they're so important to me. So goats were my first and only pet from kindergarten age up till present day. My first chore was milking the goats. My first babies I raised was, of course, goats on bottles. They were my dogs. I didn't have a dog growing up. I had goats. They followed me everywhere. I had pack goats that would take hiking with us. I had two beautiful white San and Withers that pulled a cart. And I was very stylish and profilish in my little red fancy goat cart running around the property at 10 years old. I'll show y'all a picture of that. But my goats will always be so important to me because they were always my best friends growing up. And they supplied me with the experience, the dedication, and the absolute work ethic to take care of livestock animals at a very young age. I was picking up all of the hay to supply for their food needs. Then every day I was milking goats twice a day. I was helping birth all the babies. So because of my dedication from taking care of my goats so well, I'd always begged for a horse. And after years and years of me taking care of our herd of goats, my dad told me that I had shown enough enthusiasm for taking care of them that he would allow me to have a horse. So my goats are also the reason why I ever got my horse Golden Lady. Then now, years down the road, they're also the reason I feel like I have such a love and bond for my larger animals, which is my cows, my herd of cows. And what's so special about Muffie here, so Muffie here is so special because throughout the last 10 years, she's not only fed her own babies, she's also helped first-time mama goats feed their babies. We would let Muffie's babies nurse, then we put the other little babies on Muffie, and she wasn't always happy about it, but she did share her milk with those babies. And through the years of me having adopted orphan calves that didn't have mamas, Muffie has supplied all of the colostrum for babies that didn't have any. Without colostrum, they would have simply died from lack of nutrition, plus their immune system would have been shot throughout the rest of their lives. And then Muffie supplied enough milk to not only feed my family, but to also feed my calves. My calves have always been raised on at least 50% goat's milk, and 95% of the time it was Muffie's milk they were drinking. So she's just the best goat, and I'm so thankful for her. And it's fun to be able to share my childhood of where my love for this lifestyle came from. It was through these little animals right here. My mom's dream of homestead milk goats that created in me the dream for just livestock animals. And so please excuse my messy attire. I definitely had a different video in mind for this week for Farm Girl Friday, but when nature calls, and as a farmer, you have to answer it and just spend your night out in the goat barn. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned. Whenever Muffie feels like blessing us with babies, we will definitely bless y'all with a baby video. So we can share the love of these little precious things with the whole world. But for right now, I hope y'all have a blessed day and a blessed weekend. And thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I have nothing more fun to talk about than my goats, but they're very important to me. Y'all come back now.